This video contains main story spoilers for Endwalker patches 6.1 and 6.2. Newfound Adventure was our first step on our new path, and set the stage for the events that will be outlined in this video. If you haven't caught up with 6.1 yet, check out my recap video which I've linked in the description. Patch 6.2 introduced a plethora of answers to lore questions we've been asking for years, as well as introducing a new set of questions. This is the main story catch-up for patch 6.2, Buried Memory. We pick up where we left off in Thavnir. Varshan, aka Vitra, informs us that Garland Ironworks have completed our request for reinforced warding scales. At the same time, the Hainish alchemists have created their artificial Atomos, which will be our key to entering the Void. Given the events of the Crystal Tower, Sid was not going to miss our opening of a gate to the Void. It turns out Nero had a hand in the Scales modification, given all the data he collected on the Void and Voidsent the first time around. Nidhana arrives and takes Varshan away for a few moments, and when they return, Varshan is in a new and improved adult version of his mammoth vessel. This body will allow him to fight alongside us in the battles that are to come. As we prepare to leave and everybody says their farewells, Y'shtola has a gift for us. The Loporrits had returned Hydaelyn's crystal, the same one that originally guided us to Meteion.
The Loporrits no longer have need of it, and thus saw fit to return it to us. Harboring the power of light, it could well aid us in our mission in the Void. And who better to bear Hydaelyn's gift than her chosen champion?
We set off to Alzadal's legacy, and the Void Gate that will usher us onto the Void. Y'shtola commands the Atomos to absorb the Void Gate, which will then make it large enough for us to traverse.
Go! Absorb the Void Gate!
Varshan tells us when he first went through the Void Gate all those years ago, he emerged in a castle swarming with Voidsent. And that's exactly what we find on the other side. This is the Fell Court of Troya. It's a large, elaborate castle reigned over by a Voidsent by the name of Beatrice, who was also the castle's original ruler before their world fell. We fight our way through her Voidsent minions and drive her to the top of the castle. Before we can put an end to her, a powerful Voidsent drops out of the sky, stabbing her with his sword and absorbing her ethereal essence. This is Scarmiglione, an ally and general of Golbez. We fight the good fight and lay him low. With both him and Beatrice gone, the Voidsent denizens of the castle look on, now leaderless and unsure how to act. We decide to use the castle as our base of operations, since the Void Gate lies within. We travel through the castle, speaking to many of the Voidsent who call it home. This is a major event for us, as until now we have only conversed with the strongest Voidsent, but now we begin to learn a lot more about their life and service. Seems most of the lesser Voidsent don't even have the ability to speak, but then we encounter ones who can, but just not very well. Near where the Void Gate stands, we find the so-called clever Voidsent that the others mentioned, which has been locked away in the dungeons. As we approach, we instantly recognize it. This is the same Voidsent avatar that made a pact with Xenos, the same one we fought throughout Endwalker and caught a glimpse of in Newfound Adventure. Just as we are about to question it, Hydaelyn's crystal begins to shine. The crystal restores the Voidsent back to her original form, before she became Xenos' avatar. She explains that unlike other Reapers who made a covenant with a Voidsent, hers was a curse. She was forced to serve Xenos, most likely by Fandaniel. Her form was altered and twisted to serve his needs and desires. After Xenos died, the connection was broken, and she was returned into the Void. She agrees to give us information in exchange for ether, the one thing Voidsent desire. She goes on to state that she doesn't have a name, so to aid us with communication we decide to gift her one. Zero. Zero tells us she's not a pure Voidsent, but is in fact only half Voidsent.
The darkness touched my mother when the war had only just begun, when I was still in the womb. As a child I looked like any other, but darkness coursed through me, and I ceased to age when I'd become a woman grown.
As we traverse the castle once more, we feel a presence watching us.
You're mine!
Turns out Scarmiglione survived us killing him, and it's at this moment we learn the truth of the Voidsent within the Void.
Fools. Death doesn't exist in this world, and I am free to return whensoever I please.
Of course, in the first, the power of light, of passivity, prevents life from emerging in the empty. But in the 13th, the power of darkness, of activity, prevents life from finding rest, even should soul be separated from flesh.
So unless one's essence is absorbed by another, it is possible to return again and again.
We fight hard against Scarmiglione, but he continuously returns due to being in the Void. Zero doesn't partake in the fighting, feeling she's not been paid to do so. It wasn't until Y'shtola reminded her that we gifted her with a name, and thus realizes that she owes us for such. With Zero's help, we defeated the Voidsent and Scarmiglione.
What? My flesh? Why won't it heal? What is the meaning of this? To seal ether in crystal. Memoria. But how? How can you have this power? Death has no place in this world. We are beyond it. And yet... Lord Golbez, you have sent me to my doom. Curse you and your wretched flattery, and this abominable fate.
After the battle, Zero was compensated for her services by Y'shtola in the form of Aether. This entire event had many of us speculating about our past forays into the Void. The Voidsent we laid low in World of Darkness regenerated after we left, which means that it's possible that the Cloud of Darkness herself could have as well. We saw her do that at least once. But back to the story. The crystal that was Scarmiglione gives us an echo vision, in which we see how he came to be and also the fate of Azdaia. It turns out, Golbez has her trapped and is using her Aether in order to fuel his Voidsent like Scarmiglione, which explains why he was so powerful. We take a final look around the castle before Zero takes us to her domain.
What's that? Mortals! They're mortals! What's enticing ether? Let me have some, let me have some! Not fair.
Her domain acts as a refuge for Voidsent that don't wish to fight or serve the will of powerful Voidsent. We questioned them and Zero about Golbez and the whereabouts of Azhdaya. In the process, we learned much about other Voidsent, such as Scathatch, who is now long gone since she perished on the Source and not in the Void. We cut to a scene happening in Golbez's domain. He and his allies notice that Scarmiglione is missing, and they agree that attention needs to be given, especially since now they've learned about Zero and the fact that she's a Memoriate, and thus is a direct threat to them. As such, Barbariccia, the Throne of the Wind, wishes to lead the assault on whoever has trespassed into the Void, while also dealing with Zero. But Voidsent do nothing without payment, and she agrees to dispatch the intruders in exchange for all the Aether Azhdaya has left. As we question certain Voidsent, tensions begin to rise, many of them sensing the wind approaching. Barbariccia arrives soon after in her domain, and exchanges threats with us.
Excellent. You've saved me the trouble of traveling to Troya.
So you're Barbariccia.
Mind your manners, mortal. My name is not to be spoken, save in reverence and fear. Alas, poor Scarmiglione, and good riddance. Felled by outsiders in pursuit of what? Pray tell? A dragon, you say? If you would know about the dragon you seek, then enter into my domain.
The lines are drawn and we set off to face Barbariccia. But as we learned, Voidsent can't be killed in the Void, thus we seek Zero's aid with putting down Barbariccia. In exchange, Varshan offers her all the Aether she needs from him. He makes this bargain knowing that Barbariccia knows information about Azhdaya.
You're not the only ones who can ride the wind.
Leave these ones to us.
I see to Barbariccia.
We engage in combat with Barbariccia, who true to her title wields vast powers in the element of wind. When we finally bring her down, Zero is able to crystallize her, and we have thus dealt with 2 threats from Golbez.
You're finished.
Damn it all!
Unlike the first crystal, however, this one doesn't give us an echo experience, and we are thus no closer to finding Azhdaya. After the battle, Zero passes out, having expelled too much of her energy. With nothing left to learn and with Zero unconscious, we take her with us and head back to Troya, in order to go through the Void Gate back to the Source. Zero is allowed to rest. In the Void, beings absorb Aether directly from others, but now that she's on the Source, she'll be able to absorb it from the environment itself. After a while, she wakes up, surprised to find herself on the Source, and to see the light which she has not glimpsed in so long.
Oh, you're awake! Wonderful!
What is this? Some sort of fiend? A fiend? Where is it? Where?
But this is no time for jokes.
We all gather to converse with Zero and also show her around Razadhan. During our discussions with her, she tells us the tale of the 13th and its fall.
We are all ears. Please.
Long ago, light filled the world and all was at peace. But then the servants of darkness came, and they bequeathed a black art unto men. Channeling the power of hope and prayer, one could call forth fearsome beings known as Eidolons.
The Ascians. And these Eidolons are surely primals.
When it seemed the world would be plunged into chaos, heroes appeared. They who were blessed with a singular power. The power to bind the ether of Eidolons within crystals known as memoria. My mother was one such memoriate. But in fighting to save many, she herself was touched by darkness. As was I.
And so you were born part Voidsent, before the world was overcome.
How exactly did that calamity come to pass? Did the Memoriates not triumph?
They did. They expunged the seeds of chaos and restored the peace, only to find themselves seduced by the darkness they had sealed. They spread the taint, transforming men into monsters, what you call Voidsent, and raised armies to wage new wars.
Not the first to be corrupted by power, nor the last.
Some defied temptation and held fast to the light. My mother and I among them. For years and years we fought, but it was not enough. And when our strength was spent, our bulwarks broken, so too was the world.
The flood of darkness.
The stars faded from the heavens as a pall black as pitch enveloped creation. Darkness raged unchecked, rending the very walls of reality. And find my world changed beyond recognition, into the lightless waste you saw.
It's this discussion that sparks the idea of a redemption of the Void and restoration of the 13th. It was in the process of restoring the first that we learned the best process to do so, and while not the same circumstance, it is possible to apply it to the Void and reverse the effects. Thus are we and our allies of one mind. Along with saving Azhdaya and stopping Golbez, whatever his plan may be, we will also work to redeem the 13th from darkness. We cut to a final scene with Golbez and his two remaining Archfiend allies, discussing the fall of two of their number. He states his ambitions will finally be fulfilled. Their promised war is on the horizon, against whom exactly remains to be seen. But it's clear that no one will be safe until Golbez is defeated once and for all. And that is patch 6.2 Buried Memory. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video or found it informative, please leave a like. And also leave your opinions on this subject in the comments. Finally, if you haven't already, consider subscribing, as I have many more videos to upload. We still have many questions to answer about the events of patch 6.2, such as how Golbez got to be this powerful that he can even entrap the likes of Azhdaya. There are many theories, but nothing concrete. But we won't have to wait long to find out. Thanks all, and now, as always, have a good one.